Hi, I'm Rich Wisniewski from To Karen with Love. Aside from funny business and telling stories, one of the things I love most is professional wrestling. Now in future wrestling videos, I'll skip right ahead to the point, but for this video I want to give just a little bit of information to make sure we're all on the same page. World Wrestling Entertainment, or WWE, produces live and filmed shows which are a theatrical performance of a real wrestling federation. To quote Max Landis, it's a TV show about a wrestling show. The people you see are actor-athletes portraying conflicts as if it were an actual sport. The moves and stunts all actually hurt and are incredibly difficult to do well, even though they are not in actuality trying to hurt one another. WWE has weekly programming in which they set up and develop their storylines, and then monthly shows where many of the stories either come to a conclusion or develop a major wrinkle to continue the conflict. The main goal or prize that wrestlers work towards are either settling personal disputes or trying to get a championship in their field. Of the monthly shows, which were, and for the time being are called pay-per-views, there are 4 which are of a higher prestige than the others. Of those 4, the 2 most important are WrestleMania, which has been described as the Super Bowl of wrestling, and Summerslam, which is the midway point to WrestleMania. Summerslam is approaching, and I have a suggestion for how to make it better. Brock Lesnar is the current Universal Champion. On his pathway to getting that championship, he fought The Undertaker at a previous WrestleMania. The Undertaker was undefeated at WrestleMania for 21 years. This set of undefeated victories was called The Streak. In one of the most shocking moments in wrestling history, Brock Lesnar became the first to defeat The Undertaker at WrestleMania. The company essentially sacrificed 21 years of work to make Brock Lesnar a dominant monster. He then would go on to destroy the company's resident Superman John Cena in brutal fashion, and do the same to many others. While this was happening, WWE brought up a group of new wrestlers called The Shield. They were, in my opinion, the coolest wrestling group in the history of wrestling. There was Dean Ambrose, who was the best talker and had an erratic, manic fighting style. There was Seth Rollins, a moshing CrossFit Jesus who jumped off of high things. And lastly, there was Roman Reigns, a sexy Aquaman with hair just as wet, who yelled, "Ooh, ah!" and smashed things to death. They won matches convincingly, looked and acted super cool, and were universally beloved. Until Seth Rollins betrayed them by hitting Roman Reigns in the back with a chair. Since that time, all 3 have been world champions. Dean Ambrose is currently injured, in real life, and Seth Rollins has redeemed himself by fighting heroically and consistently having stellar matches. John Cena is getting older, so the company wanted to transition to a new Superman good guy to continue printing money for them in t-shirt sales. Their goal was to take the handsome smash guy and make him the guy. So the plan was to make him absolutely beloved and cap it all off by conquering the monster who ended the streak. Now, what made Roman Reigns cool was that he was mostly silent, spoke with his actions, and while he could do amazing things, he was just a man. His vulnerability was as important as his strength because it made you root for him and the Shield as a whole. In 4 years, WWE has failed to make the crowd like Roman. Some of the things they've tried are having him dominate and defeat people that the crowd like better, such as The Undertaker and Daniel Bryan. Making him say terrible things like suffer and succotash. Having him win events to the point of laughability. Have him be beaten up well past the point of ridiculousness, and then win anyway. Have him claim that the company, which has given him more title opportunities than almost anyone in history, is somehow denying him opportunity. Claiming that the champion is never there, but he always is, a week before taking a week off. And more. So time and time again, they get to what's supposed to be the final confrontation with Brock to cap off everything they've done, and the crowd doesn't support Roman, so when they fight, Brock wins. Brock Lesnar is very expensive, which means that while he's the champion, no one else other than Roman can fight for that title. It costs too much to have Brock on TV, so the main title for that show isn't there to be fought over, and that title's supposed to be the motivation of most wrestlers. Brock also wants to return to UFC, and he started the process of doing so. The UFC is the Ultimate Fighting Championship, which is a real-life mixed martial arts fighting league. The problem the WWE finds itself in is the person that they have topple Brock is going to be the person who inherits the spirit or aura of the conquered streak. The person they give this to is receiving an investment of 21 years, as well as the accrued interest of the years since that streak was conquered. The person they give it to has to be worthy of this, both in actuality and in the company's eyes. Another problem is the longer they go without this payoff, the more they run the chance of the luster being completely diminished and it all being a colossal failure. I have a suggestion for who should be the person and how they should do it to pay off the story and set up someone for a long and successful future. That person is Roman Reigns. Hear me out. At Summerslam, before Roman's match, a wrestler named Kevin Owens will be fighting a wrestler called Braun Strowman. If Kevin wins, he gets Braun's semi-magical briefcase, which allows him an opportunity to challenge for the Universal title, even if the champion isn't expecting it or is already hurt. It is a one-time use thing. It's thought that Owens will win this through chicanery, so that a bad guy has the option to do the sneaky cash-in. My suggestion is to surprise people and have Braun, who is a slightly less hairy Kodiak bear, if bears worked out, win the match. Then, in the championship match, make it look like all of the matches that have gone on before. Have it go on for way too long, have each wrestler use their finishing move 28 times or so, make the crowd really hate it. Way too many minutes into the match, have Dean Ambrose return from injury. Now, wrestlers returning from injury are usually very exciting things when done correctly. It presents an opportunity for reinvention and can completely revitalize a character. My suggestion is to burn that opportunity and have Dean Ambrose attack Brock Lesnar, giving the win and the championship to Roman Reigns. Reigns will be demonstrably drowned in booze, and that's the way I recommend you end your second most important show, with booing. The next night on their weekly show Raw, you spend the first 2 hours teasing that at the end of the show, Roman Reigns will come out for his coronation. After 2 hours of angry fans waiting to boo, you have Roman come out and act as if he single-handedly won because he's the best. Have him act as if the match was 1 minute long and he won it decisively. At this point, play Braun Strowman's music. Have Braun meet Roman eye to eye and announce that he's cashing in his briefcase to fight Roman for the title. Then have this match play like the night before, except have Roman look even worse. Braun should be made to look amazing. When the chips are down, have the referee get knocked out, then have Dean Ambrose come out to tease interference. At that point, send out Seth Rollins with a chair. Have the heroic Rollins stand between the wounded Braun and the now dastardly Dean. Then have Rollins recreate his iconic betrayal and nail Braun. Shield triple powerbomb. Referee wakes up. 1, 2, 3. Roman Reigns has survived the cash-in. To recap, we've sacrificed The Undertaker's streak, years of potentially building literally anyone else, Brock Lesnar's dominance, Dean Ambrose's triumphant return, Seth Rollins' hard work as a good guy, Braun Strowman's indomitability, and the Money in the Bank cash-in. What have we gained? A successful payoff to 4 years of frustration. We haven't paid off that investment with the creation of a new hero, we've rolled over that investment into a less expensive monster who is now getting booed on purpose.
This is my yard now.
Roman has always come off as selfish and entitled, so he isn't even changing his character. Now, while Roman's being as dominant as he has been, WWE can comfortably come up with a plan B without the sword of Damocles of the streak hanging over their heads. Plus, when Roman isn't being forced to the audience as, "Cheer this man now," people might get to see the hard-working, dynamic worker that he is, while Seth and Dean take the pressure of speaking off of him. As for who is the new hero to build to conquer this new monster, I do have an idea for that, but that'll be for another time. And that's what I would suggest they do with SummerSlam. What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments below. And hey, if it's the future, how did I do? Did they do it? I do love wrestling, so I'm probably going to make more of these videos. If you'd like to see more, let me know in all of our social medias, which you should find below. If there's a specific topic you'd like me to talk about, like something that was done that you would have liked to have seen done differently, or something you'd like to see for the future, let me know. I'll be happy to talk about it. And if this topic, professional wrestling, is popular enough, then I'll make these videos regularly. Alright, for To Karen with Love, I'm Rich Wisniewski. Thank you kindly.